utilize their present environment for profit. These are men who have a combination of vision and industriousness. The substitute for lack of vision is dysfunction. This leads to the misuse of one's mind, spirit, and body that leads to self-destruction. The wealthy begin by seeing business solutions to problems in their existing environment because of their ability to see opportunities in uncommon fields or in crowded places. They then use their visionary personality to establish the business, not as a profit-making entity, but a problem-solving entity, which make consumers get attached to the business and help in marketing in its goods and services. Vision helps you to utilize people without making them feel abused, and that makes the difference in the world of business. Well, that is just an excerpt of the book, Breaking the Back of Luck. We did this book about 7 years ago, 2017, but the information in it still remains relevant. And as it is now, as it was then, it is a sequel of a book and of other books that have got to deal with wealth and financial empowerment. Those of you who read it, we did the first print 2017 and they all ran out. This is a second reprint, and they are literally running out as fast as we can. And we are preparing to do a major relaunch of it this Sunday at Embakasi. And so this afternoon I decided that we can come, we can engage, we can discuss the issue of finances and economics and wealth in a way that we are no longer trying to look for a hiding spot, but you are now trying to expose what are some of the lessons. If you've read the book, you can share on the link and you can just write a comment there when you read it, and or if you have read it, what is one of the things that really spoke to you. A mini book will be coming out about in a month again, and it will be talking about winning and all that. And that's a follow-up for this, and I've titled it that Winners Eat Fast. So today we want to just look at the subject of breaking the back of luck. Go ahead and order yourself a copy. I know there's a number they are projecting on the screen. This, I wrote it to be a tool to start the conversation. You know, when you're discussing about wealth, what you know matters, and sometimes that is always the difference. But sometimes the ocean of knowledge is enormous. And so how do we find some channels that can direct our minds to specifics so that we can be able to now don't zigzag and crisscross moving from one concept to another concept. So that's why we did this book, and it is something that has birthed CEOs, startups, so many people, because we did it as a series in church, and then people caught the spirit of entrepreneurship and they picked up, and their lives went to the next level. So as you are getting, either writing a comment there and giving us a brief maybe summary of either something you read that spoke to you and left you or set you on a trajectory of how you're going to work on yourself and improve yourself financially, it's going to be a great blessing. So you can get over there and start giving us some feedback. Let me see. Let me see what I can be able to glean some of the feedback of what we have. So the constant that you'll find in this book, thank you, now it's ready. The constant that you'll find on this book is the statement, wealth is created and poverty is caused. And you cannot handle wealth without the ability to create it, because there is nothing, everything of worth when it is found mingled with worthless or things that are not of worth. And so when it comes to that statement, wealth is created and poverty is caused, the main idea of it is that when you want to begin to break away from the line, the bottom line, you have got to engage principles that will be able to, because even gold, when it is found mangled up with worthless and limiting less valuable material and less valuable metals. So we say that wealth is created to suggest that when you want to start getting gold, you may be at a gold mine, but you have to start doing the digging, you have to go doing the heating, you have to go do the breaking, and all these processes that you're doing, you are working towards creating or reaching the core of the valuable part. When we say that poverty is caused because poverty thrives when people are living their lives from the outside in. When a person begins to want to create wealth, you start putting the inputs from the inside out that will give you focus, that will give you tenacity, that will give you traction in the market and give you force in the market. And when you talk of poverty, poverty comes from being caused in the sense that you live your life constantly bombarded by externals. And as we say that the things that are seen are temporary, and if you cannot see properly, those things that are seen have a way of distracting you from channeling your energy into what can create for you wealth. Others may blame bad government, others may say bad parents, others may say bad relationship, others may say a bad background. But all these things are externals. Deep within all those externals, there is an individual choice that has a greater way that poverty is caused is because these are people, poverty is caused when somebody surrenders their power and lets life to choose for them. When you allow life to choose for you, slowly by slowly you will come to find that life may not necessarily choose for you what is best for you. And so you will have to get yourself to the place where you have to create for yourself from the place of life never chose this for me. So I had to make a higher choice than life. And I had to take on life like a salmon and swim upstream. So the journey of wealth creation, and this goes to us people of faith and especially us believers, the journey of wealth creation, we either treat it like a mystery, we treat it like a strike of luck, we treat it like an opportunity to work, and we always try to put it that you can only prosper after somebody else on another level, after your CV has been received, after your visa has been approved, after your parents have handed you over something. But it doesn't have to be there. It can start where you are surrounded, because wealth resides in a person. It doesn't reside in an occupation. Once you're wealthy, wherever you find yourself in your small way and you begin to engage, you will discover that the little that you're doing will begin to take the shape of the person that you are, because money rises to the level of the person who is handling it. It is not the person who rises to the level of the money that they have. And so when you work on your wealth traits, and that's why this book, Breaking the Back of Luck, has more to deal with the traits that will increase your worth, so that whatever space you'll have to start with, the little you'll have to start with, or the much that you'll have to start with, because you have to start, whichever the case, you have to start. There cannot be that will trigger the ripple effect that will create wealth for you. There cannot be success without somebody initiating. And that is why it's going to be very, very important for you as you begin to make up that decision this year. You have got to know that as much as we have functioning government, as much as you have coming from parents, as much as you have a good church, as much as you have a good pastor, all these are just enabling you to bring you to the place of making the choice. Once you make that choice, now you begin to create the ripples that are able now to move your life from a place of need to a place of supply. And God has no problem with you prospering. God has no problem with how wealthy you are. God has no problem with how prosperous you are. Those are not problems that God has. God actually, he says, he delights in the prosperity of his people. He put us here on earth not to punish us or to banish us from his presence. He put us here on earth so that as it is in heaven, so shall it be here on earth. And if in heaven there is light, there is gold, there is order, there is peace, there is no chaos, that is the same atmosphere that God is entrusting upon you to create it for yourself wherever you are. And so you may have to start, and unfortunately sometimes, most of us who want to start the journey of wealth, we look for a lot of support emotionally, financially, politically, and then we say that I was not supported, or nobody is supporting me, or nobody. But at the initial stage, nobody is supposed to support you. It is not us to own the commitment, because we are not even sure you are committed to this journey. We are not sure you are committed to this thing about wealth. Raise your worth so that when we come to you to support you, we will be at a place whereby we know you have already poured yourself 100, and we can start seeing the ripples. When we start seeing the ripples, we'll now know you are in the water. You are ready for a dive. You are ready for everything that comes. And so it is not supposed to be that, well, I did not do much in my life because the people I was looking forward to, my mom was never there for me, my dad was never there for me, my rich uncle was never there for me, my rich brother was never there for me. Some of us even go as far as saying the church was never there for me. And we have all these, what I call crutches, that we want to put the weight of our prosperity, instead of owning that fact that wealth is created, and that creating of wealth begins with you initiating and showing the world that you are here and you are committed to creating the as it is in heaven, so shall it be here on earth. And so that is why one of the things that shows you're committed is your ability to simply invest in your education. You may not have gone to the best universities in the world, but self-education, your ability to put yourself in a room, sit with a book and read it through, and then take a sequel, and then put yourself in an environment where you're taking your learning seriously. That is what is going to improve your worth. As your worth begins to go up, what happens? You will have now sharper, better decisions in what you're doing with the money that you have, or with the skills that you have, or with the networks that you have, or with the resources that you have. And when your worth is going up, what worth does is that it opens your eyes to see how many options you have available to start with. That's why we constantly insist that any person who wants to be wealthy must be committed to the education. You cannot make wealth without intelligence. Money is very complex, and one of the food for money, for wealth creation, is wisdom. And wisdom cannot grow on an uninformed mind. It needs your mind to be informed for it to be able to be a cropping ground for wise ideas, wise actions, wise decisions, some levels of circumspection. Some of the financial scars you have was because you bypassed information, or you lacked information that could have spared you. Some of the worst decisions you've made is because you are taking big risks on limited knowledge. And once the knowledge was limited, and then you took a leap of risk, it stopped being risk. It became a gamble, because now you wanted to win money, and you wanted to take the approach of a Russian roulette, that I'll roll the die, and I hope that it lands safely on me, and I'll keep pressing the trigger, and you just happen to be unlucky, and boom, you fired your own head. So we are here to start a community, start the journey of people who, again, are breaking the back of luck. And as we always say, it is limited resource. It is a limited edition. We do very limited editions so that we want to look at the quality of what people are reading. This has just come out so that the next book that is coming out in just a month from now will tie in with what you're learning here, and then will build you up mentally, because one of the things that I feel that God is releasing me right now is in the education of the believers, especially in our country here. We are being educated, and everything we are trying to apply here, you have got to know when a writer is writing, he is writing based on the context upon which he lives. So the laws of every land are unique to that person. And so sometimes we may sit here and we may be reading a bestseller from somewhere. The principle may be the same, but the practice and the contextualizing of that principle is very different, because there are, as I always told you, that money is very layered. Money is layered in many, many things. There are political laws that sit around it, cultural laws that sit around it, labor laws that sit around it. So when you are reading something, you read something and you may say, this principle, the person who is saying it here, is because where he is, or where he is based, or where he is coming from, he's writing to respond to the need of where he is predominantly. And so the principle can help me solve the problem or identify a path to a problem. But if I try and apply it directly or without what engineers would say, tampering it with a localized solution of, this is the principle, but how do I bring it down to the people here so that I am able to work with it? So we find ourselves as a country that most of our self-education is adopted from outside. And we are trusting God that God will give us the grace, the time, the discipline, and the patience to now start educating ourselves on topics based on the current unique challenges that we are living in. Because as we are going further and further, we are discovering that preaching alone won't do it. Doing a quote here and a podcast here won't do it. We have to go and educate. And to educate, we have to turn that matter into a book so that it becomes more and more timeless. So it becomes very, very important for you who is listening to me to begin to start a journey with a teacher. Jesus said a student cannot be greater than his master. So that was saying that he was trying to set a principle that the avenue of greatness is teaching. So he was trying to say that when you start following a teacher and taking teaching seriously, you have started unlocking your own greatness in a very personal way. So my challenge to you is go ahead, grab yourself a copy, have a copy with you. There's a team that is dedicated to make sure that we deliver the books where the books should be delivered. If you're not in town, you're living in the outskirts of Nairobi, if you give us your details, and if there is a need for you to incur a little cost for you to get the book wherever you are, feel free to do so, because as I said, this was a tool and we wrote it specifically for believers in the body of Christ so that they can be able to set their lives on a path of financial freedom. I can tell you for free, nothing breaks homes, nothing breaks visions, nothing breaks visionaries than the lack of supply financially. There are very many people with very good hearts, but they are not endowed enough to be able to lift the burden of vision. And so we end up becoming a begging community. We end up becoming a crying community. We end up becoming a soliciting community, because we don't know how to flip a coin and to flip an idea and put it on the ground so that we can be able to go fast. So I want to challenge you, especially those of you who are living in Nairobi. I want to challenge you, those of you who are living in this country called Kenya or in East Africa, that this is our book, this is our material, this is our baby. Let's get it working, let's get reading, let's get studying. Uh, let's put let's put a demand on the spirit in us to find a place like just what I've written here. Uh, Wealth creation does not begin with having a lot of money, that is quantity, but it always begins with having the quality of courage. Uh, Poor people suffer from three compulsive fears: the fear of ridicule, the fear of failure, and the fear of unknown results. Uh, Fear causes poverty by restricting the mind's ability to see opportunities and possibilities for wealth creation. Courage then becomes the ship by which you sail across these mental torments. Failure to muster enough courage to step out on our ideas will cause us to lose our dreams to these non-existing but mentally impeding phobias. Rosa Parks, the legendary initiator of the civil rights movement, stated these wise words: "I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear." Now, that is information in a book. You can't say, "I'll walk on the street and see it on a billboard." By the time something is being advertised on the billboard, the team behind has gone behind, the marketing team, the operations, the budget, have gone around to strategically select. So by the time you think you're making a decision, somebody has filtered and gone through those fears, and now they are out there. They have already begun the journey of wealth creation. Now, as I say, you don't need a lot of support. You don't need to start big. You don't need to be endorsed. But one thing you need to initiate. And every time you initiate something, why can't we initiate things? We'll just find there's a mental impeding thing. It's the fear of ridicule. Maybe people will say, "What do you think you are? Really? This is nonsense. What is this? This is so small. Really? What is this? This is useless. Really? What is this?" So because you have that fear of ridicule, automatically you have a very soft core that every time you are ridiculed, you feel like a failure. You feel worthless. You feel that because people ridicule it, you are not the best person to be running that thing. But if God has given you a gift, a dream, a vision, a passion, it is okay for a season for you to be misunderstood. And because that season you're being misunderstood, you are finding a lot of buts and buts. It's not the right time, it's not the right this, it's not the right this. But that doesn't stop God and should not stop you in any way from initiating yourself and bringing yourself to the market. The fear of failure, well, I've tried it before, it didn't work. A friend of mine has tried it, I got auction, I tried it, this happened, I tried it. And so that puts you in a place whereby you are constantly already living the consequence of if it goes wrong than allowing life to be the selector of what should be happening. So give yourself the room, give yourself the permission, give yourself the occasion to create wealth. You will be so thankful in the years to come that I was able to do these things, I was able to move these things, I was able to make these contribution. Life becomes sweeter when now you are able to reward yourself at any time of the day, at any time of the year, at any time of the month. Life becomes more sweeter. Your mind begins to be more buttressed in terms of reinforced and strengthened, because once you do something and it succeeds, even if for a season people ridicule it, that is where they are. That is not where you are. They say that 50 or 65% of people have ideas that they have not started. So the moment you start something, you have already left like 65 or 70% of the world. You are already in the top 30%. That even if you're not good, you are already in the top 30%. Now, Once you're in the top 30%, your competition has changed, your circle has changed. You may not be able to see the effect and the value of being in that 30%, but now when you start adding other skills, other competences, other insights, other networks, you will begin to see the value of just that 30%. By you just saying, I have started, you have left a whole 70% behind, and you have crossed over to the 30%. So we want to start that. We want to unclog the system within. We want to educate and put information in your hands that will put you in a place whereby you will be comfortable to start, even with limited support and with very limited endorsement. You will be able to start. You are already not doing well. So even if they ridicule you, the worst you can be and the worst you'll ever be is where you are currently. So every step you're making forward side is better, because where you are, you already know this is where I am. So I'm challenging you to take those steps. Get yourself this book, and it will significantly help you. So let me see what's happening here. Let's see if I can get a comment. Yep. Yeah, I can see. Asante sana. Thank you. And by the way, this is Pastor Rafian is the one who is hosting us. I can sing here. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor, for hosting us and for hosting me here. Yeah, money has to do more with you, has to do more with who you are than money itself. Yes, true, true, true. Poverty is a condition, not a position. It's an indicator of your internal conditioning. Yeah, that is good. That is Gilbert there. Thank you very much, Gilbert. Poverty is a condition, not a condition. It's an indicator of your internal conditioning. Yeah, and we want to hear from you. Thank you. You can see there's Bridget Chibalonza. Nice to meet you. Dixon Amunga, Presenter Darwin, Amina, Sharon Kimani. Thank you. Thank you. Smasha is here. God has no problem with me prospering. Yeah, God has no problem. God has never had a problem with people. He doesn't care how much you have. If you look at what he was saying to Abraham, as far as your eyes can see, I will give to you. That God can give you so much that you cannot finish in a generation. That is Genesis. I say, look, as far as your eyes can see, I'll give to you and to your children. That God knows I can give you so much that even if you are to leave, you will not be able to finish it in one lifetime. So God has no problem with you prospering and you doing well. This is Life Pull Our People. This is a manual to Kingdom Financial Literacy and a guide to Kingdom. I highly recommend it for every business person. Thank you. Yes, Masha, the worst you can ever be is where you are currently. And it's true. You have to start there. You have to start there. This is the worst you can ever be. So it's okay if this is the worst. Aha. My son there, Ibrahim. My syllabus for wealth creation for 13 years. And you've really done well. When we started, people like Akina Ibrahim will have a testimonial of when we started, how we started, and how because they were the first people that we ran this material as a sermon series to them, and then 5 years, 6 years later, it turned out into a book because of the impact and the deposit of what this material was able to do. So they will be able to one day share their story of where they are and how this gave them a new paradigm of how God was able to use that book. Nelly, I can see you. Let me see if I can move to other pages. I think this is on this Facebook. Somebody is here saying following, sir. Thank you. So, Chris Eros, this is Steve Mukamba. That's my boy. They're following there. I can see this is Chris Ero. He has woken up from creative night. Yeah. That's one group. So it has a way. It has a way. And let me say this because I can see I've like 15 minutes before we are done. Also, let's talk about the place of faith and finances and the notion that money is a mental thing, and so you really have to possess a lot of intelligence to be able to work the money system. Well, I will not say that money requires a lot of intelligence, but I would say that it requires a lot of empowerment. You have to know that the economic world, what we call the market field, is equal to what is called the battlefield. And so sometimes it's not the amount of intelligence that one possesses, it's the amount of, because you'll see like you can be very intelligent and very fearful at the same time. So that tells you automatically, once fear runs your mind, it doesn't matter how intelligent you are sunk. You can be very intelligent and very immature. That is, whatever money you can get, because the thing about intelligence is like a medical prescription. It comes with the disease. You cannot, that's why the assumption that somebody who is a very intelligent person, that's why many businesses are not run by professors or set up by professors of economics and professors of enterprise. So the professor can teach it because they can intelligently set up a syllabus, answer questions in a syllabus. But now to take an idea, run a HR system, run an accounting system, run an operation system, and run a technical system, those are different intelligence, and retain and attract those talents. That's a different form of intelligence. So when we talk about wealth creation, many think it's about intelligence, but we people of faith, we make it appear like faith is a quality that should reside in our hearts and in our morals. And we lock it there that this is a person of faith. And that's why we even put on regalia to show that's a person of faith. But if you look at the place of faith and how Jesus uses the word of faith, faith is a holistic premium whereby it turns the now, where you are now, it puts you in the now and gives you power to act in the now. And that's why we're saying that wealth is about empowerment. Because now what faith does is that it empowers you to act in the now, right now, where you are right now. Waking up from that place, the prodigal one moment was in a pit and he said, I will arise and I will go. And when he arose and when he went, the Bible says that is the coming to your senses. So when you're talking about faith and wealth creation, is the ability of people to take decisive actions in the now. And so what that does is that now your mind begins to rise above the tide. And as it rises above the tide, it is now able to have the strength to endure no matter the circumstance that is either complementing or contradicting it. So we have we have this dichotomy where we think that the rich are very intelligent, or those who create wealth are super intelligent. And then when we come to church, we try to make that faith is for the dumb ones, that the people who don't want to think, they fall for faith. It doesn't happen like that. I want to tell you that actually faith is what ameliorates or raises the value of your mind. If you look at the Bible clearly, it says that whoever lacks wisdom Let him ask. That is James chapter number 1. And we know you can't have wealth without wisdom. But as you ask for this wisdom, it says, let him ask in faith, not doubting. So it is that faith and wisdom are Siamese twins. So if you want to have wealth, you need to have wisdom. And if you have to have wisdom, you need to have faith. So what faith does, it brings the wisdom, and you have to know this, that wisdom is disruptive. Wisdom is not convention. That's not wisdom. Wisdom is an action you need to do in the current time that sometimes contradict what is happening at that time. So wisdom is disruptive, sorry. And so what was about to destroy you, a wise thing comes, either call so and do this and this. If you don't have the faith for it, so they work together. Wisdom and faith work together. So once somebody has wisdom, has faith, now they are able now to take decisive actions in the current moment of time. Let me tell you, you don't have to lose anything right now. And whatever you're losing right now is maybe because of actions of indecision, that you took too long to take a decisive action. And so the thing spread, or the grip firmed up and tightened up. And so we people of faith, we should not feel like, we try to say, well, I'm going I'll pay 30,000 for a master class because I believe in a master class. I'll get specifics about faith, or I'll get specifics about finances, and these specifics about finances will make me do this, and will make me do this and do this and do this. The master class may help you be able to track your money, but faith can be able to make you multiply that money. Because one thing you have to know, money does not make you think. I'm writing my, maybe by the 1st of January, the rules about money is that money doesn't make you think. Money is a mirror. It doesn't think for you. It reflects the mind you have. It doesn't think for you. And when you get a lot of money, that's why you become covetous and greedy, is because soon and very soon, the spirit of fear begins to control the money and controls you using money, because now you begin to fear losing money. But now, if you have this trait of faith and wisdom, you have the capacity, because you have to know everything God created can be replenished. That's why in America right now, there's this bounce back spirit. Former president was out, then another one came, then he's running again as a leading contender, because there are people who have that ability to replenish. There are people, one moment you hear they've been declared bankrupt, and then again they are back on top, because what they used to build their first million or their first wealth was not this tracking system. Tracking may help you not lose money, because God is not after waste. But for you to be able to generate and multiply and increase your fortunes, you must apply faith and wisdom. And so wisdom works through the mind, but it is faith that gives action to that wisdom. So you may be a very wise person, but you don't have action. Why? You don't have the push that puts you in the place of taking those decisive actions. And so you could be very far. You could be making much more. You could have, maybe you need to close shop and build another one. The Bible says of rich men, they bring down a smaller one and put up another one. But you are fearful. Now when I bring it down, I don't know. So you're being controlled by the phobias that are surrounding you. And you feel like you're being wise. But those who have learned the principles of building, and that's why if you're a person of faith, you are not lesser in the game. And you don't have to trade our food in the name of, now I am now into wisdoms. I'm now into wisdoms. I'm now not into faith. No, the wisdom that comes from God is the wisdom from above. And that wisdom, James chapter 1 says, you must ask for it in faith. So wisdom can't come in the absence of faith. You get to 1 Corinthians chapter number 2, he says, Paul, he says, I came to you preaching Christ is the wisdom of God and the power of God. And then he says that so that your faith may not lie in the wisdom of men. So faith and wisdom, they always walk hand in hand. And what happens is that if you take the faith of God and you put it in the wisdom of men, it loses its power. Even that wisdom of this world has not been made to work with the faith that you have received from God. But Paul says that Christ, he is the power of God and he is the wisdom of God. And so he says that your faith may not lie in the wisdom of men, but in the power. So when you are taking this faith, you loop it and it puts his hand in the wisdom of God. Sure, your life cannot stop. You cannot struggle financially forever. Your life can change today. Probably there's something in your house right now that carries the key to open the door for your financial stresses to reduce. But the disconnection between faith and wisdom, because you feel like wisdom should come from somewhere. I even hear people saying that I prayed to God to answer my prayer. I don't know why God is not giving me money. He should give me money. He should give me money. He should give me money. The answer that God will use, it will be either to increase your faith, to apply a wisdom, to act right now. There cannot be a financial deliverance without taking actions in time, decisions in time. You can walk with the optimism that one day things will work, but you can walk with the power, I'll make things to work. I like it when the ball is on my side rather than the ball is on the other side. I like it that way. So I pray that you will take your steps and help and celebrate what God will do for you and be part and parcel of what God is doing right now in this country right now with us here. You will be part and parcel of the people that God will help to be able to establish his work. So let us see some few comments and then I think we'll be done. We have got about 5 minutes. Yep, I can see nailed it. Yeah, wisdom and faith work together. Yep, yeah. And then also, what we call wisdom, especially we people of faith, when Christ was sending out the disciples, he used a serpent to symbolize wisdom. And that is why when you're dealing with economics, you need to know that you cannot take on a serpent like a sheep. You can't prosper like that. And that's why you need that wisdom. And now that wisdom that you're talking about, you don't scoop it and pick it from anywhere. You pick it from faith. And so I want to challenge you. And this is why your financial life, your wealth is very, very important to God and should be very, very important to you as a person who desires to get there. So let me see some final comments here. Yeah, faith raises the value of my mind. Yeah, faith doesn't dumb you down. Faith doesn't make you dumb in your head. Actually, that person, we tell people don't go to church. You will get lost in the church. Church will make you not think. Church and faith is not the same thing. Church and faith is not the same thing. So faith raises the value of our mind. Yeah. Your mind can be, you see, your mind is a perceptual organ. And the same way, if I take alcohol right now, and what it does is that it will influence my mind, and I'll now not be able to see clearly. So your mind does not have reality. Your mind is always influenced to shape its reality. And that's what we call the threshold of the mind. So your threshold can be raised. You can be trained, and your mind changes its threshold. That's why when you are dreaming, your mind does not think you are dreaming. You can dream and get scared, and you are dreaming. Your mind cannot say, well, it's just a dream. It's until you wake up, that's when your mind says, my God, I was actually dreaming. So that sinkhole in us, there are pathways in the mind that have been opened for spirits and spirituals to be able to influence them so that we can have a different set of reality. When you look at the story of Moses, and I know this Sunday, when we'll be launching this book, I feel in my spirit that I've got something that is very, very important for us. It says the reason why Moses was exceptional was because he was able to see who is invisible. Meaning, the invisible, unseen, is what creates fear. Fearful people have only one perceptual set. Their mind only sees visibles. But Moses, by faith, he was able to get a second set that now opened the perception of his eye, that he could now see the invisible advantages. And that's why you may think you're at a disadvantage, and that's why you are at the corner, because the visibles have cornered you. But if you get this perception of faith correctly, this tool of faith correctly, it will be able to correct and make you now see the invisible. And he was able to see the invisible, and fear got lost. So the more invisible you can see, the less visible things scare you. You are not doing badly. You are seeing the invisible. So Sunday, make a point to be in the house of God, and throughout the month, wherever this we're going to be doing the breaking the back of luck, make a point to be part and parcel of what we are doing. And so we can see one here. Yeah, faith can make you multiply your money. Yeah, money is a mirror. Yeah, money doesn't make you think. Yeah, that's true. And then we normally assume that if you see somebody with a lot of money, he's very intelligent. One of the things I'll tell you, and this is the power of faith. You know, faith is a force. It's a force. It's a fist. Yeah, and I should say this maybe now. Some people have money because they have more force than others. It's not that they are more intelligent than others. They were more forceful than others. And that's just sometimes is the difference, that you are shy, timid, phlegmatic, hallelujah, the good things will come to those who wait attitude. That's why you are not getting the good things coming. But there are people who are more forceful than others. Joshua turned the people into a forceful community. They took 31 cities. Moses tried. They would fight once, pray a little. Mama, oh, you married her, you married him. Before long, they were dying in the wilderness like flies. But Joshua went across, said, hey guys, tomorrow we're having circumcision. He circumcised everybody. They had a mountain. And this was not a democratic circumcision. It was an announcement. Tomorrow, all of you men, we are meeting outside there. He circumcised so many people, it became a mountain. The mountain of foreskins. He wanted everybody to feel the pain of the knife. Moses never took time to circumcise them. He felt like, hey, these guys have already left Egypt. They've gone through so much. It's been so that any journey. And they call that place Gilgal, which is the mountain of foreskin. Imagine how like 2 million, there were so many foreskins that they became a mountain. And then he said, now you're ready. I'm not going anywhere with somebody who has never tasted the pain of the knife. He moves them across. They take the city, and a person gets into trouble. He cries to God. God says, why are you crying to me? There is sin in the camp. What sin? He asks Achan, come here. What did you do? Achan says, I did this, I did this. He says, oh, sorry, Achan, oh, sorry, Achan. The next thing, he butchers that man in the presence of everybody. He butchers his livestock, he butchers his, and he puts them there. That forcefulness got into the camp. The next chapter you're reading, 31 cities have been taken. And so faith is what gives force to your mind. Faith cannot work when you accept to be bullied. There is a degree, the Bible says that faith is the resisting effect. If faith can resist Satan, who is our arch enemy, it can't resist that person over there who is pouring water outside your shop in the name of, sasa nifanyie, unajua mimi sitakangi maneno mob. He's damaging your place. So you just have to to get some faith in your mind and become more forceful. God told Ezekiel, don't be shaken by the hardness of their heads. I'll make you a head harder than theirs, or your face harder than theirs. So, yep. The more you can see the invisible, the less fearful you are. Yes, yes, faith is a force. Wisdom, yep. Where am I at? Yeah, wisdom can't come in there and faith come out, yeah. Very, very important. Yeah. Your mind doesn't differentiate reality from imagination, yeah. That's why you can be saying I was being chased in a dream and your heart is pacing because your mind cannot tell whether it is sleeping or awake. So you can wake up sweating and say, well, I was being chased in my dream. I was having a nightmare. Yeah, the more you can see the invisible, the less fearful you are, yeah. And the instrument to see that is this thing called faith. So with those few remarks, thank you very much, every one of you, for joining us, and whatever time those who will be joining this production later, that's all the time that we have. I gave myself an hour to be here with us, and the purpose of this is so that we can be able to start preparing ourselves to get this book. This book will be available at Lifepool Chapel on Sunday. We are going to be launching it, and apart from launching it on Sunday, it is available now. You can pre-order your copy right now. Get yourself the copy of Roadmap to Breaking the Back of Luck, Roadmap to Wealth. Get this book. The other one is coming, and the other one, and all of them, I think I'm now more advanced than I was then, so it gets better with time. So get yourself a copy, book yourself a copy. We don't do a lot of prints, unfortunately, so when this is done, we move to the next one. So kindly get yourself a copy. I would love to see you richer than you. I would love to get your eyes opened that this machine called faith, that it can make me, I would like for you to enjoy it. I have a full chapter of it in here. I wrote certainty in austerity, faith, the difference between faith and believing, and even here, faith and financial freedom. So this will get you there. There it is. Faith is a wealth creator, while religion is a poverty perpetrator. Faith is always improving what and who you are. So this is a good one. And as I said, this will just direct you to areas you need to channel your energy. And just that clear direction sometimes is what accelerates the profit and the productivity of a person. So let's get rid of the inhibition. Let's start educating ourselves. I'm back to writing. I'm back to putting together books that will educate the body of Christ and will educate people outside there. So I'm trying to put it there. So we have some copies that are available for you. I would like you to have it. I'm praying that you prosper. I'm praying that you do well. I'm praying that even when you'll be watching this, whatever time you'll choose to watch this, as I've just been talking and sharing with you for the 1 hour that we are here, if God enables us for the next 3-4 weeks, while the books will be doing the book tour for this, for the 3-4 weeks, if God enables us every Monday, we're going to be meeting here and just bringing to you the reminder that you are bound to prosper. So Breaking the Back of Luck season is here, and go ahead and grab yourself a copy. I love you. My name is Welio Dendo. That's all the time that I had. God bless you and take care.